Welcome. I'm William Kimaya. I'm the host, and we are privileged to have His Excellency Apostolic Nuncio with us to take us through an interview. And I'll really appreciate your presence here, and thank you for inviting us to be here for this interview. Because you are still new in Kenya, and I believe so many people are asking, who is the Apostolic Nuncio? Kindly just introduce yourself for the sake of many young people in Kenya who doesn't know you.
Well, thank you very much for being here, and welcome also in the house of the Holy Father, Pope Francis. My name is His Excellency Monsignor Bert van Meegen. I hail from the Netherlands, grew up there, have now been for quite a number of years in the diplomatic service of the Holy See, that is like the diplomatic service of the Vatican and of Pope Francis, and arrived in Kenya in May and came at that point from Khartoum, North Sudan.
Now, switch to our topic of the day. We are talking about young people. And I believe since you came, have you interacted with young people maybe in Kenya?
Well, of course, in my work now also as a nuncio, I go around a lot, have been visiting a number of institutions here in Nairobi, and of course also in my visits to different dioceses here in Kenya, I have the opportunity to visit or to meet the youth. Because I do feel that the youth is very important, as they are the ones who have to shoulder our society now and in the future. They are the ones who will survive us over 50 years, so to say, and who have to carry this society and our church into the future.
From where you come from, do you see any difference with the young people here?
Of course, there are differences, because first of all, there are the cultural differences, which always have a profound influence on the human person. Many of these cultural influences we are, by the way, not even aware of. Me, myself, being a foreigner and having traveled and lived in quite a number of countries, the more you do that, the more you become aware of your own cultural reflexes that before you were not even aware of that you had them. And in that sense, of course, the youth of Kenya is different from the youth of, for example, of my own country, the Netherlands, is once again very different from the youth of the United States, is very different from the youth of Japan or Russia. Of course, it also has a lot to do with exposure. I do feel that in the modern times, or in this technological time, this time of internet, the digital time in which we live, many of those cultural differences are, so to say, flattened out because of the influence of internet on young people. I grew up in a time that there was no computer, there was no internet, so our view on the world was limited in the sense that most of it you would get either through the newspapers or maybe sometimes through TV or through books. And that was a very focused and essential information, also limited, while youth nowadays, be they in Nairobi, or be they in Buenos Aires, or in Tokyo, or in Delhi, basically have the same news resources at their disposal. And in that sense, you also feel that the way people behave are getting closer to each other. There is a bit this feeling of what some years ago was much spoken of, this feeling of the global village, where people start to share the same values, to react in the same way, as they are like continuously connected through the internet and influenced by the internet.
Now, on to a personal question. From your office, how do you involve young people or youth in your ministry as an Apostolic Nuncio?
Mm-hmm. I'm very much aware, as I said before, that who has the youth has the future. Of course, that doesn't, by the way, exclude any of the other age groups. I mean, families are of essential importance for the Catholic Church. Children, being the predecessors to youth, if you want to say, are of importance. But there is also, and that is, by the way, not only a Kenian phenomenon, there is a tendency for youth to drift away from the church, to drift away from a certain identification with what church is. And that has, of course, a lot to do with the fact that even we as a church, we have to learn over and over again to walk with the youth, to be with them, not only at certain key moments like Holy Mass or maybe catechism classes, that is one thing, but that also in daily life as a church you try to be present at a football match or when playing music, or even, why not, when youth goes to have a coffee or maybe a drink, so that the representative of the church, be it a priest, a religious, or even a layman or laywoman, is there to be with them and to share with them their experience of daily life, which at times are very challenging.